Hello, welcome to GMT. I'm Kasha Madeira. Gunmen and suicide bombers have carried out coordinated attacks in Tehran on the Iranian parliament and also on the tomb of the founder of the Islamic Republic, Ayatollah Khamenei. Now, a number of people have been wounded or killed. The Islamic State group has said that it carried out the attacks. Security forces have surrounded the parliament, where the assailants are believed to have taken hostages on an upper floor. A blast has been heard and attackers have been shooting outside through the windows. Well, across the city at the tomb of Ayatollah Khamenei, a female suicide bomber reportedly shot several people, killing one of them before then detonating her explosives. Saeed Mohammed Marandi is a professor of North American Studies at Tehran University, and he says that the Iranian authorities will suspect a link between the attacks and Saudi Arabia.
Iranians believe at the moment that the number one suspect is either Saudi Arabia or groups linked to Saudi Arabia. Even if they're not, it is almost for certain that the extremist groups, Wahhabi groups, the Saudis and others, as well as Western countries, have been doing over the past few years who carry out attacks in London, as well as in Birmingham and other parts of the world have also carried out attacks in Tehran. So I think people in Iran expect Europeans, Americans to put pressure on the Saudis to end their support for these extremists.
Professor Marandi giving us an update on what he thinks that the authorities there, the Iranian authorities, think on who is behind this. Rana Rahimpour is a reporter from BBC Persian and she joins us live now. Rana, it's still rather a fluid situation, but in terms of the details of what's happening, bring us up to date.
It certainly is. We have had reports of sounds of gunshots at both sides, both at the Mausoleum and the House of Parliament in the centre of the capital, Tehran. According to Iran news agency, at least 8 people have been killed, and the officials say that about 35 injured people have been taken to different hospitals in Tehran. As you probably have mentioned, A'maq News, which is a news agency that belongs to ISIS, has claimed responsibility for both attacks.
Now, we've been seeing various pictures coming from Iran, incredible pictures from the parliament building itself of a child being lowered down. We were under the impression that hostages were involved in this scenario in the parliament building.
It's true. We have heard that the attackers entered the parliament through the entry number 1, which is where the public can go and hand in their requests. And apparently security at that entrance is not that tight. It's not too difficult for people to get into there. And then from there they managed to go to the building where the offices of the MPs are located at. And that is where the hostage taking has started. We haven't heard about the fact that whether it's over or not. We are still trying to find out what is going on, but we know that one of the attackers, then there were 4 attackers according to officials who attacked the parliament. One of them detonated his suicide belt.
Now, obviously, we're talking about 2 situations in Tehran. In terms of the shrine of Ayatollah Khamenei, is that still ongoing or has that been resolved now?
We had reports of gunshots about 10 minutes ago, so it doesn't seem to be totally over. According to the custodian of the shrine, the attack happened at 10:40 local time. There were 4 attackers. One of them was apparently a woman, but we also had reports that some of the attackers were dressed as women, so it's very difficult to find out whether they were actually women or not. We have to wait to get that confirmed. But the Mausoleum, 2 of them were wearing suicide belts. One of them detonated it. The other one, the security belts managed to stop.
OK, well, Rana, for the time being, thank you very much. Rana Rahimpour from BBC Persian there. We're going to continue to monitor everything that's taking place in Tehran, and we're also going to put some context to this with our World Affairs correspondent, Paul Adams, so stay with us for that. But now, the day's other big news story, it is the... Welcome back to GMT. We're going to go back to our lead story, the attacks in the Iranian capital, Tehran. This is an update of what we know so far. There were 2 separate incidents which occurred at 2 prominent locations, very prominent locations in the capital. Armed attackers stormed the Iranian parliament whilst it was in session. That attack is ongoing. In the second incident, there was a suicide bombing at a mausoleum which houses the tomb of the founder of the Islamic Republic. Now, authorities have convened on an emergency security meeting over these attacks, and also so-called Islamic State has said that it was behind them. Let's get some perspective on all of this. Our World Affairs correspondent Paul Adams joins us. Paul, you've got a bit of an update regarding the hostage situation.
Yeah, there's the New York Times' correspondent in Tehran who's been tweeting a lot this morning. He says that wives and one daughter of two parliamentarians were taken hostage in the Parliament building. This was according to an MP. There was also a photograph just a short time ago showing another child being lowered down from a window. So it does seem as though there were family members in the Parliament building while this attack was going on. Bizarrely, in the main chamber, the MPs seem to be continuing with their, if not routine business, but seem to be continuing. There are pictures of a meeting underway. And the Speaker of Parliament, Larijani, saying that everything's under control, but then you have a comment from the Deputy Interior Minister saying that the whole country is on alert. So it does seem as though, at an official level, they're somewhat at sixes and sevens about the extent to which this is an ongoing and very dangerous situation.
And of course, we've also got the situation at such a symbolic location at the shrine of Ayatollah Khamenei.
Yeah, one or two possible suicide attackers there. An extraordinarily symbolic site to pick, the mausoleum to the leader of the Iranian revolution, and perhaps it's that attack in particular that might lend credence to these reports of Islamic State, so-called Islamic State, claiming responsibility. They had put out a statement via their official news agency saying that fighters from Islamic State attacked Khomeini's shrine and the Iranian parliament. It would seem like a likely culprit, given the fact that in both Iraq and Syria, Iran and Islamic State are very much on opposing sides. Iran is heavily invested in both of those conflicts. There are Iranian advisors and Iranian-inspired and equipped militias involved in the attack on Mosul right now, and Iran obviously has been very much involved in sustaining the regime of President Assad in Syria. So there's all sorts of reasons why Islamic State, which has not yet up to now, done anything in Iran, might choose to have done it. And when you bear in mind that in the last couple of months they've upped their rhetoric directed against Iran, with a video in Persian in March and 4 issues of their propaganda publication since then, published also in Persian, does suggest that for some reason they've decided to zero in on Iran.
Paul, we're out of time. We're going to have to leave it there, but thank you very much for the time being, Paul Adams. Thank you. We'll continue to monitor that for you.